in Indianapolis Colts quarterback Matthew Hasselbeck, and he joins us right now on Colts Cam. Matthew, how are you today? Thank you so much for joining us on Colts Cam.
Great.
You're great. You're great.
I'm great. I was unsure if I wanted to do this, as I knew you were probably a loyal Patriots fan, but we're going to do this interview anyway.
You know what, and I thank you for that, because I know what a kind of a giving guy you are, and I know you wouldn't want to hurt my feelings having such a close and personal relationship with me, but by the way, I would have been hurt. I was excited to get a Hasselbeck on today.
Yeah, well, you know, after the whole cookie episode with Xander and Cooper, I figured you probably have Brady on speed dial. You never mind the Michigan connection, so maybe I'm trying to butter you up, though. Maybe earn a Colts fan just for the weekend. Maybe a little bit.
You know, I'm a Hasselbeck fan 24 hours a day, but if you cut me, I bleed red, white, and blue. I can't help it. But let me just go to you for your weekend and for your win, and congratulations on that. What did you see out of Andrew Luck? And what do you see sitting next to him, mentoring him, that makes him so special?
Well, you know, we lost against Denver. We opened the season out there, and we lost against them. And I remember on the bus ride home, just that feeling of disappointment with all of our team. You know, we spent the whole, not only that week getting ready for it, but training camp, we knew that was our first game. OTAs, we knew that was our first game. And we were determined to get the chance to play them again. And as fate had it, we had a chance to go back to Denver. A lot of us said, you know, during the year, oh, it would be great to have these guys at home. And I never really remember Andrew ever saying that. I think he just was determined to get another chance, whether it was here or there, and he just played that way. He played real determined. He's focused. You know, we're kind of coming into our own right now. We're playing our best football, I think, of the year right now, which is an important, you know, it's really important. I mean, that's really what it takes to get it done at the end. You got to be playing your best at the end, and he's on fire right now, which is good. It's real good for us.
Colts quarterback joining us on the Rich Eisen show here on the Rich Eisen Radio Network, NFL mobile app. You can download that NFL Now. You can watch us on DirecTV, channel 239. But Matthew, as I bring it back around, Chris Brockman's into online dating, right? If you were doing
I'm not,
Andrew Luck's Tinder, what kind of guy is he? What's he like when he's not basically delivering a bullet downfield?
He loves to travel. He loves soccer. He's got interests outside of football that include architecture, history, skiing. I think he grew up skiing as a child. I doubt he skis now, but, you know, he's into those types of things. But I would say soccer would be the lead thing. If you could just say one thing, find a common bond, it would be Champions League soccer. It would be World Cup. Yeah, those kinds of things, yeah.
What impresses you most about him, though? Because I'm going to talk to you about Brady and Peyton next, but as a guy who's young and coming up, and you've seen a lot in your experience, what is the most impressive thing about him?
You know, he's very focused. He's determined and focused. There's so many things going on around him. And, you know, he just focuses in on his job. I mean, I think he told me a quote the other day. I'm going to totally butcher it, but he said it's something his dad told him. It was something like, don't worry about if the mule is blind, just load up the cart, you know, and just kind of a thing like, hey, I think it's for him, he's not the head coach, he's not the coordinator, he's not the GM, he's not the owner, he's just the quarterback. And he focuses all of his time and energy on the stuff that the quarterback can control. He doesn't worry about who the other quarterback is that we're playing, he doesn't worry about the defensive backs, he doesn't worry about, he just worries about his job. And he's determined to be the best in the world at playing quarterback, nothing else. He doesn't micromanage. He doesn't, and you know, if they come in and say, "Hey, we're going to go with this guy at running back," he says, "Okay." We're going to go with this guy at center. He says, "Okay." Hey, we're going to make this change at wide receiver. He says, "Fine." Like, he doesn't worry about things that are outside of his control, and I think it has a lot to do with how successful he's been, even off the field. You know, he still has a flip phone. He doesn't do any social media. He doesn't even do marketing deals that other people would do. He just he's all football when it's time to do football, and it's really good for this franchise.
How would you compare and contrast him? I guess you just did for me, because Tom Brady is a very different guy. I mean, but he's a much older guy. He's been around for, he's got 3 rings. It's a night and day comparison, I would suppose, but it's relevant heading into this weekend.
Well, just like head coaches, there's no one right way to do it. Everyone has to be themselves and different personalities. I think that's the same thing with quarterback. And for sure, they're different, but there are some common traits. I think the intangible factor, the things that people can't measure at the NFL scouting combine, I think both those guys have those intangibles. The other thing is just the respect in the building of teammates and coaches. For sure, both these quarterbacks have the respect of every guy in their locker room, every coach, but then beyond that, of every opponent. When you go and you play against Tom Brady, or you go and you play against Andrew Luck, it's one of those things that you notice, like, hey, this is a huge game. I'm playing against one of the great quarterbacks of all time, and you're fully aware of that as an opponent. And so those things come through earning it. You earn that kind of respect. Brady's done it for a long, long time, and Andrew's just in a short 3-year span here in his NFL career, but he's done it as well.
It's absolutely incredible. Question for you about your loyalties, because Matthew Hasselbeck joining us on the Rich Eisen Show. Matthew, you were a ball boy. Your dad was a Patriot. So I'm just questioning your inherent loyalties heading into Foxborough. I mean, is this like the Americans on FX?
I was a diehard. A little bit. Great show, by the way. Great show. I grew up a Patriots fan, and then in 1983, they traded my dad to the Los Angeles Raiders. I was a little hurt by that. Right. Luckily, the Raiders, we won Super Bowl 18, January 22nd, 1984, with the Raiders beat the Redskins. So kind of forgave the Patriots just a little bit. And then one of my first jobs, I was in high school and I was a ball boy for the Patriots, and that was the best job I ever had. I mean, if you did out the hourly wage, if you really thought about it without tips, I probably made about 88 cents an hour, but it was the most fun job I ever had. And I think that was, I look back to all the things I've learned in football. I learned so much as a ball boy about how to be a great quarterback or how to be a bad quarterback. The things that you learn along the way from working with the wide receiver group, the running back group, seeing coaches when players weren't around. There were so many lessons that you kind of got to see behind the scenes, and it was really a valuable experience for me. So, I don't know. It's a great organization. I feel fortunate to have been with it just a little bit a long, long time ago.
I got a hat for you in case you want to switch allegiance, by the way. I got a nice hat with a pom-pom on, if you want to wear that. Quickly, I'll ask you about Peyton Manning, because you're a guy who's wrapping up a career. When you watched Peyton Manning walk out of that tunnel with his head down, did you get the sense you're watching Peyton Manning in a Broncos uniform for the last time?
Yeah, I don't know if I thought that deep about it, but 2 days later, when you see they get rid of their entire coaching staff and you find out that he was playing with a pretty serious injury, you just think of all the perfect storm of things that were going on for him. He's playing his former team, so emotional to play a team that, an organization that meant so much for so long that, essentially they parted ways. You're playing against your friends, coaches, staff, equipment, trainers, all that stuff. So those emotions, and then knowing the drama that's going on behind the scenes with the coaching staff situation, and then not playing, at the level that he's used to playing, which is all pro football. It's a tough day for anybody. So that part doesn't surprise me. Anytime you lose a game in the playoffs, you're done. Your season's over. You weren't expecting it to be that way. It's a really tough feeling. And so every team, except for one, will have that feeling at the end of the year eventually. Whether you're out before the playoffs, first round, second round, or even losing the Super Bowl. So I would expect we see more from Peyton.
I hear you. Well, that's how I feel every time the clock strikes 12 on the Rich Eisen Show. So now you know how I feel, basically. But don't worry. I know you're worried. I'm back next Tuesday, so I hope to see you next Tuesday, no matter what happens this coming up weekend. Matthew, thank you so much for having us. Say hi to your mother for me.
Yeah. Hey, say hi to Wally Pipp for me, too.
Oh, I love Mia Hasselbeck, I have to say.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern. On Audience.